Sam wanted to play outside, but the whole sky was covered with dark clouds. He hurried to his mother and asked, "Can I go to the park right now?" His mother looked out the window for a moment and answered, "It's about to rain." She did not say yes, and she did not say no. Even so, Sam understood her meaning immediately. He hung his jacket back on the hook and quietly stayed inside. His mother's words were only about the weather, yet they carried a hidden answer. How did Sam know? He trusted that his mother was trying to help him and that she would not mention the rain for no reason. So he searched for the connection between the rain and his question, and he found it. Going to the park during a storm is a terrible idea. The real message was never in the words themselves. Sam built it himself by guessing what his mother truly meant. Later that afternoon, his friend Mia knocked on the door. "It's so boring and quiet at my house today," she said. Nobody had asked her why she had come, but Sam only smiled. He could already hear what she had not actually said out loud. "I want someone to play with." People, Sam was slowly learning, often mean far more than they say, and good listeners, like good friends, gradually learned to hear it.
When someone speaks to us, we almost never receive the full message from the words alone. A sentence, taken by itself, is often thin and incomplete, and the listener has to supply everything that has been left out. Suppose a friend remarks, "It's getting late." Those few words say nothing directly about what you ought to do. Yet, depending on the situation, you might understand them as, "We should leave now," or "Please hurry up," or "I would like to go home." The words remain unchanged. The meaning shifts with the moment. How is this even possible? The listener begins from a simple but powerful assumption. The speaker is trying to be helpful and would not mention something pointless. Guided by this assumption, the listener treats the remark as a clue and searches for the reason behind it. If you happen to mention that you are thirsty and a friend replies, "There's a shop around the corner," you do not hear a random fact about the neighborhood. You hear a suggestion. "Let us go and find something to drink." The speaker is relying on exactly this. Knowing that the listener will hunt for a sensible connection, the speaker can leave a great deal unsaid and still be perfectly understood. Speaking and listening therefore meet halfway. One side drops the hints, and the other side gathers them up. This is why two people who share the same situation can understand each other with remarkably few words, while a stranger may be left puzzled by the very same sentence.
The philosopher Paul Grice offered an influential explanation for how listeners manage to grasp a meaning that is never actually spoken aloud. According to Grice, ordinary conversation rests upon an unwritten agreement. Those who talk together are expected to cooperate, each participant contributing what the exchange requires. From this single principle, he derived 4 familiar expectations. Say enough, but never more than is needed. Do not assert what you believe to be false. Keep your remarks relevant to the matter at hand, and express yourself clearly, avoiding vagueness and confusion. These expectations are not strict laws, but the ordinary habits of competent conversation. Because we assume that others are honoring them, we can read a surprising amount into a mere handful of words. The genuinely interesting cases, however, arise when a speaker appears to violate one of them on purpose. Imagine a teacher whose recommendation letter praises only a student's neat handwriting and perfect attendance, saying nothing whatever about ability. The teacher has obviously supplied far too little information. Yet the reader does not conclude that the teacher merely forgot. Instead, still trusting that the teacher is cooperating, the reader searches for the point of the silence and arrives at an unstated message. The student has little ability worth recommending. This is how an additional meaning, called an implicature, comes into being. It is not contained in the words themselves. It is worked out by the listener, who assumes that an apparent breach of the rules must conceal a deliberate purpose. Verbal irony operates on the same logic. To exclaim, "What lovely weather," in the middle of a violent storm is to say something transparently false, and the listener, refusing to take the remark at face value, recovers the opposite meaning that the speaker truly intended.
A long-standing view holds that language is essentially a code. On this account, each word carries a fixed meaning assigned to it by convention, and the meaning of a sentence is computed by combining those individual word meanings according to the rules of grammar. To communicate is therefore to encode a thought into a string of symbols and transmit it, while to understand is to decode that string and recover the original thought intact. Meaning, in this picture, is taken to reside wholly within the sentence, independent of who happens to utter it or when. Yet a closer look at ordinary talk strains this comforting model. The very same string of words, fixed down to the last letter, can convey sharply different things as the surrounding situation changes, and much of what a speaker manages to communicate is never encoded in the words at all. A code, by definition, yields identical output whenever identical input is entered. Human understanding refuses to behave so predictably. What the listener recovers is not simply unpacked from the signal, but reconstructed through reasoning about what the speaker in this particular context must have intended to convey. A further sign that such meanings lie beyond the sentence is that they can be cancelled without contradiction. A speaker who says, "Some of the students passed," may invite the inference that not all of them did, and yet may add, in the very next breath, "In fact, all of them passed," producing no contradiction whatsoever. What a sentence strictly asserts cannot be withdrawn in this manner. What it merely suggests can. Understanding a language, then, is less like operating a decoding machine than like solving over and over a small puzzle whose answer depends on the passing moment. Meaning is not handed over ready-made inside the words. It is constructed in the space between speaker and listener.